Good morning. I'm hoping that sound and everything are working properly. To set up my station in a new place to make certain I had a video sound. We're just going to check here. And I'm just going to see, I'm going to do a sound check here. Good to see you guys. And I'm just going to see, I'm going to do a sound check here. Okay, perfect. So we have sound. Wow. So today is going to be very interesting. We have Master Jesus with us today on doing, being, which is completely the reverse. You're going to have to excuse me because I'm going to have notifications coming on. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Shortcuts for Your Soul. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. And today we're going to be talking about doing, being. And I have the pleasure of having Master Jesus with me today. And this is going to be very fascinating because usually you think of doing or being something somewhat different than you normally do. I can hear you. Great, guys. Now there's going to be also about a 20 or 30 second lag because I'm tethered to my phone. Hi, everybody. So today is about doing, being. And I asked him, what does he mean by doing, being? He said, it's important to understand that your being should be what you're doing, but you have to know what you're doing to be in alignment with your being. I said, what do you mean by that? And he said, well, how do you discern when you are really being what you are and doing what you are being? He said, the way to begin to find your purpose in understanding what you need to be doing from the perspective of being, that is very important you understand what is right for you to do, what is not right for you to do in the moment. And this is something that's different for me. So I said, well, can you explain to me how to do that? He said, sit in a chair. So I did. I sat in the chair. He said, now ask yourself the question, what do you feel you need to be doing? And I just sat. And then, of course, as I sat, I watched my mind start thinking about, well, I'll look up at the trees, and look at this, and I can hear the birds singing. And he said, no, those are things that your senses are picking up. What is it you want to be doing? What is it you want to be doing? And so I just sat and I said, okay, what do I want to be doing? And then, of course, my mind starts telling me, well, I can go to the beach, I can do this, I can do that. My mind starts telling me from memory what I should be doing, which is really fascinating. So I thought, okay, what's the next step? Then he said, okay, so just breathe. So I did. I breathed deeply. And I relaxed. And then I felt this compulsion to just get up. So I said, get up. So I got up. He said, start walking around. So I started walking around. He says, how do you feel being what you're doing? And I said, I'm not quite sure I understand what you mean. How do I feel my being doing? And he said, what you should be feeling is right now. It's in this moment. In this moment, there shouldn't be anything else. No other distractions. Just how do you feel doing your being? Which is the reverse for me. Of course, for me, it's usually about being, doing. And so I, yes, okay. So I got into that place of just feeling what I was doing rather than think about what I was doing. And as I did that, I felt this desire to turn left. And so I turned left. And I looked down, and in front of me on the table is my container of water. And I realized my body needed a drink. So I went and I got the container and I took a drink. And he said, that's the first step. You begin to understand what the moment requires of you, not what you think or remember you think the moment requires. It's what the moment actually requires. In that moment, my body was thirsty, and I was unconscious to that fact because I was thinking about getting set up here, had to find the right spot, make certain that my mind was. And we're going to take questions and answers because I'm at Toronto. Just for FYI, I'm at Toronto Island, which is in Toronto, and it's a big island called Hanlan's Point, which is one part of the western side of Toronto Island. And they've just opened the airport off one end of the island. There's an airport called Toronto Island Airport. It's an actual name for where Porter Airlines goes out of. So they've opened that airport background noise with service trucks going by to service the people that live on the opposite side of the island. There's a village on the other side of the island called Ward's Island, and there's a village of about 600 to 800 people there that still live on the island. And so coming to this place, so that's all set up, and that was all stuff that was coming out of my mind. All of what I've just said in the last 20 seconds about where I am and what I'm doing, that's all stuff coming out of my mind. What I've done, where I am, those are all things out of my mind. It's not doing my being. He's saying, if you're truly doing your being, you'd be saying much less and doing much more. And that really hit a spot for me. If I'm really if I'm really doing my being, then I'm going to be saying a lot less and doing a lot more. And I said, well, how does what you're saying apply to people getting out of their heads and getting out of thinking and getting out of analysis? He says every single one of us has a place within us that we would call home, that we would feel no want or need for anything, ever. Because all you want and need is in the moment. It is in the moment that you understand what you want and need. You don't have to seek beyond that. If you are truly in the moment, then you know when you need to eat. You know when you need to drink. You know when you need to walk. You know when you need to talk. You know when you need to connect to people. You know in the moment. Most of you are spending great amounts of your time thinking, examining, evaluating, weighing, measuring, considering tomorrow, considering yesterday, considering all of these other things, being distracted by the stuff that goes on around you. Most of you are not doing, you are being. Most of you are lost in your minds. And until you get out of your minds, you will be stuck in them. And so I said, well, how do we do this? How do we get everybody out of their minds? How do we get out of our mind? And he said, stop trying to figure anything out. Go back into what you are right in this moment. What is the moment? And so I feel that right now, and part of me says, well, I should get up and walk around. And so let's do that, if you don't mind. I got a little bit of wiring and stuff hooked up, so let's do this. So again, I just felt this compulsion to get up and move around. So we're going to do that. So I'm in this little bushy alcove here that is pretty amazing, because we're by nature, and you can see we're on a part of the island where all of the people that work with their boats and bring their families here. So there's people from all walks of life on this beach, on this island here. So you can see there's a wall down there with all kinds of boats lined up on it. There's another wall here with all kinds of boats lined up on it. And it's just a beautiful, peaceful place where there's not much distraction. I don't have my my gimbal with me, otherwise we wouldn't have the movement. Okay, I'm gonna sit back down here and there. So I'm gonna follow the compulsions that naturally come to me. And of course, there's a little part of my mind as I'm doing that, it's going, well, should I be showing this stuff? And I can actually feel in the back of my mind a part going, should I be doing this? Should I not? And there's a part of us that's been conditioned by the environment to be outwardly focused rather than inwardly driven. And this is so important, because until we get to that place in our consciousness where we can deliberately be present in the moment, we cannot know whether we're hungry or whether we're thirsty. Yes, he's saying that the vast majority of humanity today are suffering from the perspective of their bodies alone. Many of you are dehydrated. Many of you aren't eating properly. Many of you are too busy with this world to care about this little organism that you live in. It is time. Pardon me, I keep forgetting I have a microphone on. Pardon me. And we forget these things. We forget that we're not in the present moment. We've got to come back to here and now. And he says, very important to become aware of what you need and what the moment needs now. What the moment needs at this moment. Yeah, he's telling me to breathe and slow down. His energy, I'm glad I got this beautiful summer breeze coming over me right now, because when he's here, it's very hot. Hot energy coming down through the core of my body. So what are you right now? What need does your body have? Do you really know what your body needs? Because it's the thing that we all use to be in this world, to serve life. Do you know what your body really needs? Are you giving it proper nutrition? Are you giving it proper water? Because if you're not treating this mechanism properly, he says we will treat everything the way we treat ourselves. The way we treat ourselves is exactly the way we will treat the world around us. And it really is true. I remember a long time ago when I was in a very different place, what would happen if I wasn't thinking. But let's get into some questions and answers, because I know y'all want to. Hello from South Africa. I've got another device here so I can watch your questions, because I don't know how I can do it on the device. Here we go. Hello everybody. I'm only streaming from YouTube Live today because I don't have my I just discovered today that the interface I normally use doesn't stream multiply from handheld devices. It has to be done from a laptop. Question from Lysandra. I keep dreaming of a childhood house. Is there a reason? She's saying it is time for you to be as the little child again. I'm asking what he means by that. It does not mean to be like a child without thought, but be childlike, open to the wonders and the possibilities of what your life can be now. Open your heart to joy, open to curiosity, open your heart to being fully what you are in this moment. You are not going, many of you go back in memory thinking you are trying to get back in memory, but no, you are trying to bring what was lost back into the present moment. Your innocence, your playfulness, your kindness. These are things that are innate and natural to the children. Caring and kindness. They will learn this. They are this. You come in trust. It is important. Yeah. Oh, is there anything else about that? Yes. He says, go and play today, dear one. Go and play today. Have some fun. Do not try to pre-plan anything. Go play. Go and play. Yes. 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 Thank you, Heather. I really appreciate that. Aren't we all in the image? You know, Heather, I want to read that comment. Heather is saying, question, words from Master William as well. You are made in God's image, just like the great Master Jesus teacher. And we truly all of us are. And this is, he comes to remind us of this truth, the truth that was hidden from us, that we are that which we seek, that we will in the world, but we will find the fulfillment of the in our being, the expression of that which we are, which is the divine, and then offering your divinity to the world as a gift in service. Thank you. Wonderful. Wonderful question, Heather. Question from Bogmilla. Any messages from Master Jesus for me today? Wow. Yes. He's saying the exact same thing, that it is time to come back to the lightheartedness. Come back to your lightheartedness. He says you've got a weight around your heart that you keep trying to find somebody to take that weight off you. Give up your weight. What would you suggest you do? Give up your weight. He says go find places where you can find laughter, and then feel the laughter as part of who you are. Do not find it out there, but own it in here. Find it out there, but own it in here. I like that. Thank you. Good morning, Lori. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Marigold. Question from Carolyn. I feel my energy being ramped up too much, and it can bother others around me. Why is this happening, and how can I rein it in? He's saying it's not to be reined in. He's saying to understand what you are being directed to do, you need to allow the energy to understand what its doing is, what its doing is, what the doing of that energy is. Rather than feeling overwhelmed by it, allow the natural impulses of that energy to flow through you so that your being can be doing. Let those natural impulses flow from you. Do not try to figure out what those impulses are, but feel Does it want you to leave that place? Does it want you to go to that place? Does it want you to eat? Does it want you to rest? Does it want you to talk to a particular person? What is that being inclining you to be doing? It is your doing that you must all master. For you already are being, but you need to understand the doing of it. The doing of your being is so important to understand. This is what's so important. Question from Patricia. My friends want to start a catering company. Do you like the name Loaves and Fishes Catering? He says yes. It's a very good play on words. You must understand that the loaves and fishes is strictly a representation of an understanding that was imparted to everybody. For those that felt they were not unable to eat of the Spirit were given food. They were given the food of the Spirit. And those that were unable to understand it were given the fishes. The loaves and the fishes represent the giving of the Spirit, what you can digest, what you can eat of the Spirit, of the great manna. Yes. He says he finds it quite humorous that there's so many things that he taught that were misrepresented by those who assumed false authority over the teachings of the divine that he brought forth. He said there were many others that were as he was in those days, that many of those people were likewise sorely treated from the people that were in power at that time, and even today still. What's the question directly? He says the name is still very representative of that truth. If you understand, you are offering to feed the light of the Spirit to those that are hungry. If this is your intention, understand that you are feeding in this venture the truth of the Spirit to those that are hungry for it. Great question. It's the first time we've ever had a question like that. It's great. Wow, this is a question from Nicole. I feel ready to start my life purpose. Any messages before I take my leap of faith? It's funny, he just says, you've already taken the leap of faith. Now he says, be mindful of how you land and how you walk when you land. You've already taken the leap of faith. Be mindful for how you walk. Make certain that it comes from that place of understanding. Make certain it comes from that place of your connection to us and those that work with you. Cool. That's beautiful. Thank you for that, Nicole. We're at this wonderful place where we have the choice between remaining as human beings, having a human experience, or spiritual beings, living a spiritual experience and expressing it through a human condition to manifest a whole reality in our experience of being. Let's see here. I think I'm just stepping. Thank you. Wonderful. Question from Reflection. Are ormus metals recommended to heal the body more efficiently? Thank you. He's saying if your faith is such, then yes. For whatever your faith, it shall be that unto you, whatever your faith may be. It's funny because I remember one of my mentors, Dr. Thurman Fleet from the Concept Therapy many years ago. He said if a person, you could even give a person like a little twig from the ground. You can give a person a twig, and if you give them that twig with a suggestion that this twig has great healing power, then their faith in that would make it so. So if your feeling and belief in that medium you choose to use is strong, then by all means use that medium to reinforce your faith. Ideally, you will wish to come to the place where your faith is not something that you seek from outside of yourself, but you recognize the power of that which is within you as you to affect any cure, to affect any outcome, because you know it does, and it will, as easily as it can move your finger or blow the air through the trees. As easy as that. Thank you. That's a wonderful question. Wonderful. Wonderful. You're welcome, Carolyn. I'm just trying to figure out how to go down. I'm not used to using this other device. I have questions on the screens. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I love that, loaves and fishes. Yes. Question from Marigold. Does Payton have any message for me about this subject? He's saying not that you haven't already heard, but if you listen to the silence, you can find in that silence the answer to what you need to be doing. As an impulse, getting to that place in your awareness where you begin to feel that connectivity that says, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, I want to go to that neighbor, I want to see that man on the street, I want to talk to that person. When you start identifying it from within you, you begin to liberate yourself from all of the external distractions that are around us all the time, that are continually competing for your attention. Now your body is intelligent. It knows what it hears and smells and touches and tastes. It knows, it's aware of it, it's ever vigilant to it, right? But that's not who you are. Your body's just the instrument. You want to train your instrument to be the servant to your awareness, to your being, to your being's requirements for doing what it is here to do, what you are here to do as a sentient soul, as a divine extension of light. This is very exciting for me. It's a whole new process. Oh, the lag looks like it's only about 30 seconds or so. I'm going to just see what we got questions-wise. In Hinduism, somebody's asking, Lori's asking, in Hinduism, is Jesus an avatar of one of the Timurti or his own entity? He's laughing. He says, you can give me any name you choose to give me, and I will still be who I am. I love that. You can give him any name you can choose, and he will still be who I am. Oh, I love that. And I think that's true, you know, when we do align to the divine, that there is a universal unity factor that's involved. And it's funny watching humans try to bring this oneness thing to this physical dimension when we came here to experience the individuality and the joy of that, right? Yes, they all laugh at that. They all laugh at the idea that we're trying to make people into being the same thing, but we're not. We came here to express universal diversity, right? The universe gives the infinite one that gives us all, beats all our hearts, digests our food, circulates our blood, you know, makes the cicadas sound in the trees. It's giving it that action. Like, that same light is expressing as a cicada right now, that same universal oneness, already a oneness. It came here to give us life, to express its oneness in diversity. There is a beautiful elegance to us being individuals, you know? And I think we've all lost sight of that. The masters have not. They come here. You look at Shri Guruji, or, you know, Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, Marianne Williamson, or President Trump, or, you know, Vladimir Putin, or any of these beings on the planet are the divine expressing its individuality. From the perspective of oneness, there's an individual now. It's why communism fails, because the divine says, I came here to express myself as the leaf, as the tree, as the bird, as the sun, right? I came here to express myself this way. Let it be. Yeah, they're just playing back the Let It song, Let It Be, in my mind. I love that. That's a great question. Whatever name you give me, it does not change who I am. Question from Danielle. What does Jesus think of the Bible, of his teachings in the sacred books? He says that the true teachings are being revealed through many on this world right now. The true teachings, they are written in all of your hearts. They are written in all of your hearts. But you cannot hear, for you do not listen. You must learn to listen. Only in the silence can you hear the truth of the teachings. And simply the teachings come to that simple word that you call love, which few of you understand. You can speak these words, but very few of you understand the being of these words, the doing of these words. What I think of them is of no consequence, and it should be of no consequence to you. But what is important is, what are you doing? Who are you being? Are you satisfied with it? For I would say to you that if you wake up, if you go through your day and you are dissatisfied, then you are not doing that which you are being. Yeah, he said, I have no judgment about how others will choose to do things. I have understanding of what may be right or what may be wrong from the perspective of my father and mother's will. That's cool. So that's pretty interesting, that we get to be what we are. We get to be the individual extension of this infinite intelligence. We have that option anyway. A lot of us are still caught up in what we've been taught to think is real, what we've been taught to believe is real, what we're, and it's tough. It can be really tough sometimes when you're caught up in this idea or that fear or that thing. But knowing what you're doing from the perspective of being, rather than the other way around, your being doing, understanding that your doing should be coming from your being, yes. But how do you get to that? How do you get to know what you're doing? I want to come back to that before we finish today. Sit in silence, find a chair, but follow not what you think, not what you remember. And this is key, because most of us do what we remember. Most people are doing from what they remember. Most people are doing from what they're thinking, which is mostly from what they remember or what they're anticipating. Come to a place in your consciousness, as you were saying to me earlier, where you're just being aware, and find that place where you can feel from within, not what your senses, the smell, the touch, because your senses will distract you, but what from within moves you, what from within moves you. And then begin to follow that. Nicole was saying earlier, I'm ready to take a leap of faith, and he said to her, you've already taken the leap of faith. Just be mindful of what you are doing. Be present with it. And this is something we all need to, the minute we came into these physical bodies, we took a massive leap of faith to leave the comfort of the creative love of infinite intelligence that's unbound and unbroken. And then we come into these individual bodies, it's pretty amazing. We come into these individual bodies and suddenly we are individual. We've got other voices around us, we got other beings around us, there's birds, there's all these different things now. But they're all still interconnected from the perspective of that unity consciousness. And if we can get back to it, consciously into it, and then conduct ourselves as individuals from the perspective of unity, how will that change what you say, what you do, if what you say and what you do are coming from that perspective of being? It'll be very interesting, and I would look forward to hearing your questions and your comments, your concerns about what your experience is in venturing into that realm. You did when we first came into that body, and we slowly got separated from what we were taught to think we are. We got slowly separated from that by our senses, and now we're all struggling to get back to that. It's kind of funny. We've got to lose ourselves to find ourselves. That has a whole new meaning for me individually. He's just laughing at me. He's saying, there's more to go, there's more to come. We're all just getting there. Let's see if we've got any other questions. Let's see. Drusilla is asking, I have asked for my ascension from the seed of incarceration. Am I ready? He's laughing. He said, every one of you is ready. Every one of you is ready, but are you willing to do what you say you are ready for? Are you ready to do what you say you are ready for? I remember this time at day camp. This is what it comes to my mind as I hear him say that we had this 50-foot cliff to jump into a place called Echo Lake. And everybody's jumping off, and there are people that aren't jumping off, they're just standing on the edge. Everybody's dove in the water, and a bunch of people are in the water, a bunch of people aren't in the water. Some people don't even want to go near the cliff. They don't even want to jump in. It's terrifying, right? You're 50 feet up in the air and you're only 12 years old and you're going to jump off this cliff now. And I remember it took me like 7 minutes of just hesitating, and then I realized I just had to do it. I just had to jump. And it's funny, after I jumped, I remember the fear was gone, and there was this place of, there was just a place of being, literally being. There was no thought of what was going to happen. There was no thought of where I had left from. I literally leaped into the moment as a 12-year-old. And I can look back and remember that now and realize that now that I do that every morning when I wake up now. I make a decision to leap into the unknown of the day. And whatever comes in the day is just part of it. But that's what reminds you of that place where you leap out of the familiar, out of the safe, out of what you know you already know, into what you do not know. And he's saying to me right now, tell everybody, all through your days, there are moments where you are faced with the opportunity to go into what is unfamiliar, to go into the unknown. This is where you will discover the liberation of your being and its ability to do what it came here to do, into what is unfamiliar and unknown to you. The sun changes. The sun is always shining on us, right? All right, let's see. I think we've got another minute or two left. I'm going to take 2 more questions because my phone is getting low. I didn't get to charge the way I wanted. Wonderful. That's beautiful. A question from Blame for where were we not meant to be collected last night? If so, what happened? He's going to be getting in touch with you guys on Monday or Tuesday, I am told. Also that he's wondering why you why you haven't started walking. Why you haven't started the journey. Why have you not started? Why have you not started? Reflections asking, any messages for me? Thank you. He's saying not that you have not already heard. He's saying something about a pillow. Something about when you put your head to a pillow. Something's going to happen when you put your head to a pillow. I'm presuming, I'm getting the sense of lying in bed. Something happening when you put your head to a pillow. So that'd be interesting. Please let us know what occurs then. Oh my goodness, there we go. Sorry, let's see. I'm just scrolling to see if there's any more questions. Wow. 36. Yes. Yes. Now, any more here? Again, I'm still learning. There we are. I think we're good, guys. This is exciting. Do you have anything else to say? He says, go forth with yourself. What do you mean by that? The original words were go forth in love. My phone's like down to 3%. So I want to say much love to everybody because we're going to be cut off in about 12 seconds. Have yourselves a wonderful and joyful day. Get aligned to your natural impulses from within, not the impulses of your senses, not the thoughts of your mind, but the perspective of your soul. Learn to be doing your being. Learn to get reconnected to that. And I will see you guys again on Supernatural Saturday, where we're going to do a meditation around how we integrate all of this. So much love to everybody. Bye for now. I think I was just cut off in that moment. There we go. Okay, guys, much love. Bye for now. How do I can't even see my screen now.